It's happened. It's still way too early in the series to let anything out the bag. No, let the cat out the bag.
Let the cat out the bag. Yeah.
What's the saying?
But why would you put a cat in a bag? You know, you'd say to Mum, you know, where's the hairbrush? And she'd say, well, I had it 5 minutes ago. And then you'd open the fridge door and it'd be in the fridge.
In the fridge.
You remember?
I just can sometimes come across a bit direct. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Even if we do find out, we won't be able to tell you.
Can't tell you anyway.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Garners Couch Club podcast.
I'm Sharon, and this is Shaun of Channel 4 Sunseeing Selling Houses and Spanish Property Choice, located in the beautiful province of Costa Almeria and now also in the Costa del Sol.
Now, before we get into this episode, we just want to ask you all, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, and more important than anything, please share any posts you might see on our Facebook with this video. If you're watching us on YouTube, please share to your friends and family and spread the word of the Garners Couch Club podcast. So, it's happened. Wow, Series 8.
Woohoo!
It is finally out. It's been months and months of all of you lot asking us on a daily basis, when is the new series out? And it's finally out for you to all enjoy. So
yeah, no, the worst thing was that our producers told me a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you almost.
Oh, I nearly let it
slip.
out the bag. Yeah, and Sandy was saying to me, you know, don't say anything yet because you know Channel 4 can change it at any time, and they did. They did change the dates. It was going to be the 9th. And then it went to the 23rd, and then it went back to the 9th.
Yeah.
And then this new slot come up, and we are now prime time on Channel 4. Woohoo! Yeah, so exciting times for us. And I think it's a great time to be on 6 o'clock UK time.
I think it's perfect. I mean, we've kind of watched it from the beginning. We started, was it 4 p.m. originally?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. UK time, and then we were pushed to 5 p.m. Now we're 6 p.m. and I think it's incredible because obviously the recognition's there from the channel, and they know that, you know, pushing us to that time hopefully will open a whole new audience up, and the numbers and the figures should go up as well. So.
Yeah. Well, I was also told as well. Sandy told me that Channel 4 absolutely loved Series 8. There's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. We've had some highs, we've had some lows.
Yes, and obviously it's still way too early in the series to let anything out the bag. No, let the cat out the bag.
Let the cat out the bag. Yeah.
What's the saying?
But why would you put a cat in a bag?
No idea.
Now that's really weird. Where's that come from?
I don't know.
Oh, that's it. Somebody's got to tell us. No,
the
somebody's got to
English
tell us. Yeah, letting the cat out of the bag.
Where does that saying come from?
Yeah. I wouldn't put a cat
idea.
in a bag. Would you put a cat in a bag?
I would not, obviously, put any cats in any bags, but not letting anything out the bag, whether it be a cat or any kind of living being.
Yeah.
We've still got to keep hush, which is
It's so hard.
It's so hard with everything we know that we filmed, and my memory's terrible. So you helped me through a lot because we started filming Series 8 back in, was it
October because
of 2024.
Well, I ruined it for them because they wanted to start filming in September. But if you remember, I did my American trip.
Oh yes, you went away.
I went away.
Of course.
Yeah. So the producers were like, "Huh? You can't go to America. We want to start filming." Sorry, it's booked.
But they've always been really good with that, haven't they?
Yeah.
They work around us incredibly. You know, if we've got holidays planned, they've always sort of appreciated we've still got a job and a life, and they always do their best to not disturb any like personal trips that we've got or celebrations, or although they always want to film it. Anything going on.
We've learnt now, after we're coming into our 9th year now, so we just never mention that, you know, we might be going on holiday or there might be an event coming up because can we film with you, you know? So but we really enjoyed Series 8, didn't we?
It was my favourite series to film.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Series 1 for me was special. Going back to Series 1, I mean, we had Alan King filming us.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the experience of filming. I think just how I felt.
Yeah.
I think Series 1, 2, and maybe even Series 3, I was still really nervous. I don't think I'd taken on board exactly what we were doing. It was...
We're in Series 8, love, and we still don't know what we're doing.
No, but I think that was it. I wasn't really taking it in. So I was always nervous. I was always overthinking about it. I was always panicking about where I've got to be, what I'm filming, times, all of that. Whereas as the years have gone by, I think I've just become a lot more comfortable. And this series...
Yeah, but I think obviously, you know, when we first started doing this, I mean, you know, we are estate agents. We are not TV presenters or TV personalities. We are estate agents. You know, we're a family business. And yes, we get filmed for the TV, but we've still got a job to do at the end of the day. And even though we're filming with clients on a daily basis and then filming for the show as well, when we film for the show, you know, they're still our clients. They're still the most important thing to us.
Yeah.
So we still try and do our normal job, whilst having a camera crew with us. And of course, you know, we have to stop and we have to do things again for them so they can get the right angle or get the right content, because Shaun waffles, he never shuts up.
Oh, clearly. I'm clearly the waffler in this family. I'm the opposite sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking and I'll just go blank.
Yeah.
And going back to when we started filming, it used to be going blank because I'd be so nervous. And in my head, I'd be trying to think what I've got to say next. Because obviously not being scripted, it is just off the cuff. And I used to get so in my head about all of that. Whereas now, I just go blank because I think I just run out of things to say. You waffle so much that you take all the things I had in my head to say, and then I'm like, so what do you think, Shaun? And I just stare. I'm like, I don't really know what to say.
Well, I think we've been selling houses now for nearly 20 years, so it comes natural. But having a camera, and I mean, now we're very posh now. We have 2 cameras now.
Oh yes, we've
gone up in the world. I remember, I'm going back to Series 1 again with Alan. God bless him. Alan had, as far as I'm concerned, he had the worst rap whatsoever. Because do you remember filming? And he'd be walking around with that huge, great big camera, and then the end would just drop off. And then he used to have the sound man or lady. Be right behind him, attached with a lead. You know, I mean, it was hard work, wasn't it, back then?
Oh, definitely.
You know?
And I think going back to the early series as well, because we didn't really know what the show was about, nor did they. You know, even the film crew, it was just, right, let's film as much as we can. And I know we've touched on a lot of this in a early podcast that we filmed, but I don't think people realise how much went into those first couple of series. Yeah. How many hours, how much filming, how much editing and cutting out they must have done, because it was a new show. Whereas I think now, Series 8 out, I think they know the format. There's always tweaks, you know, whether it be with the families that are involved or the area of Spain that they're filming. I think there's always little tweaks they're making, but the format, the general format of the show, it's, you know, everyone knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well...
I think the key to the show, and I think the key to what we do, is we just stay ourselves. We're just who we are, and I'm sure they have to do an awful lot of editing with us, because we say it as it is. You know, even though we're actually filming with clients, you know, if you know, obviously we have to be careful because we discuss personal things, you know, with the clients as we're going around there, you know, what their requirements are, what their family is going to think, you know, the financial situation. there's lots of things that we have to talk about. Things like community fees, like, the costs that things are gonna actually cost them, but they're not things that are going to be used in the show. So bless the camera crew and the producers, they have to listen to all that and then pick out the little bits that they can actually use that's usable, I suppose.
Well, that's it. There's so much work that goes on behind the scenes. We get stressed because it's true. Filming, sometimes it can be very stressful and long days, and we kind of walk away thinking, okay, now we've got to go and do our normal day's job and reply to clients and emails and phone calls. But then what they do as a production company behind the scenes as well,
they're
is
amazing.
So insanely intense, because we hear about it, don't we? They have to get the footage back to the UK, then they've got to go into editing, and if there's any pickups, and then obviously there's a narrator that are doing a narration of the show.
Right. Oh, we're doing it again. You see, we're hopeless, aren't we? You'd think we'd know. We think we know how it works, but I think that's the other thing as well. I think we forget. We get very, very tired when we do the filming. We stand in the sun literally all day long, don't we? And yet there is a lot of standing around. There's no question about that, because we have to set up, etc. And then obviously we've got the viewings, and then we've got our normal routine that we go through when we're selling houses. So it is a very long day, and then we come back, and then again, like Shaun's just said, we do have to do our normal day's work and respond to social media, to emails and that, which can be. It can be, I'm not going to say upsetting, but it can be very frustrating sometimes, because obviously somebody may email us of a morning and may not have heard back from us until like 2:00 in the morning. And I've had times when I've had 2 or 3 emails saying, well, I emailed you this morning and you haven't contacted me. I've emailed again and you still haven't contacted me. But obviously they don't understand that we're out from like 8:00 in the morning till sometimes we can still be filming at 11, 12 o'clock of a night time.
And I think some people might take it that just because you're filming for a TV show, you're putting that as a priority.
Absolutely not.
But it's not even that. We are still working, being on the show. We are still doing our job. We're not presenters. We're not being paid to be on the TV and be a presenter of a show. They are filming us doing our work. Yeah. So I had someone not long ago, and I think it was a passing comment. I don't think they meant it in a bad way, but they kind of said, it was along those lines of, oh, well, if you take a day to get back to me, it's because, you're out filming. Yeah. So, and they said it in a slightly negative way, but I thought, well, if I am out filming, I'm still working. I'm
going to be truthful with you. I've heard from a lot of people that I've gone sort of viewing with, that other agents are saying that all we're bothered about is the show. Well, yes, we're bothered about the show, because our job is to sell houses. Our vendors employ us to sell their houses, and we will do anything, including the show, and this is why we do it. The end result is to sell a property. But even when we've been filming for a whole day, we're very, very lucky. We sell many houses on the show, which is good. And it means that the vendors of those properties that we show, we get a 3-in-1 chance of a sale that day, which is another amazing thing that happens. But the other thing is, when those cameras go off and you see us do the bomb, mind you.
The confetti bomb.
The confetti bomb has been your nightmare in Series 8.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know whether they've seen it yet, but there's going to be a few. Yeah. But, I know it sounds ridiculous, but, our job at that point, when that camera goes off and you see that, it hasn't finished for that day. We've got to clean the mess up for a start, which our crew normally does for us, bless them. But then, we've got to go back to the vendors with feedback. If we've had an offer, we then have to start that process. We have to fill in, the contracts. We have to arrange for, the purchasers to go and see solicitors the following day. And, that can be another 2 hours, 3 hours after we finish filming. And then the following day you've got to follow that up as well, and yet you're actually starting again, filming with somebody else. So we never ever stop, do we?
No, and I think a lot of people, or 99% of our clients, they appreciate that part of our job, and they, the fact that we are on a television program that's very successful and we can give them that exposure. And I think it's a very, very small percentage of people that have ever said something negative about it. And we are always going to be broken records about the show because we are extremely proud.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
We've built and been part of this show from day one.
Yeah.
Series 8 is now out,
Yeah.
which is incredible to see. And I think we should be able to, and it took me a long time to realise this, we should be able to give ourselves a pat on the back and say, no, we've worked really hard to get to where we are.
Yeah.
And, be confident in being able to say to vendors, we've got that exposure to sell your house, and buyers to come to us. And my favourite thing is I love when someone comes into the office and they go, you're just like you are on the telly. I absolutely, if you say, oh, you look skinnier than on the telly, it's even better. But but if they say you are the way we thought you were going to be, that's the biggest compliment anyone can ever give me, because I think all that hard work of just being ourselves has paid off.
Yeah. And at this point, this is probably a really, really good time for me to sort of comment on our lovely Manuel. Shaun said, obviously, we're very proud of the show, which we are. And yes, we do have new agents that have joined us. But, at the end of the day, I'm going to say it as it is, the Garners and the Rodriguez family, Sunsea and Selling Houses is our baby. We developed it, we put a lot of work into it. And Manuel, from day one, was so proud, as we are as a family, of his family, being part of Sunsea and Selling Houses. And obviously, God bless him, we've now lost him. Linda and the girls and Damien and, the whole family. This is going to be a hard series for them to watch. It's hard for us to watch. It's hard, but also I'm so proud of what Manuel achieved. He was a cheeky chappy, and what you saw with Manuel is what you got. And we loved him, and it'll be hard to move forward without him. But he's brought 8 years to Sunsea and Selling Houses. And I'm sure he'll be up there somewhere looking for the keys, or trying to get a message down of where he put them. But so at this point, I want to say thank you to Manuel and to the Rodriguez family for starting this series with us, and for the producers, obviously, for giving both the families the chance. And I think it's now time to, obviously, we've got new families that have joined us, and we need to embrace them as well, because we know how hard they work. We do an awful lot of episodes, and they don't do quite as many as us, but we know how much hard work goes into it. And we're sort of, it's a lot easier for us in a way, because people know us now. We do call ourselves a household name in Spanish real estate, because we are. We are recognised pretty much everywhere we go. The new agents, of course, they're new to the series, they're not as well known, and it'll happen eventually. And believe me, when we started the show, we got a lot of stick to start with, from other agents and the local keyboard warriors, but that's all stopped now. So so obviously Manuel, he is in Series 8. But he'll always be with us in some way, shape or form as the shows continue, hopefully for Series 9, etc. Have we got a Series 9 yet?
Hopefully. I hope so.
Is that something we need to keep secret?
No, we've got to see how Series 8 goes, because that's the way that they always work, isn't it? So we understand, they release a series, obviously it's all about the figures, it's all about how many of you are watching it, and then we get the news later down the line.
Well, Series 7 we had really good figures. That's why they've now obviously give us the opportunity to go to prime time. Of course, I want to mention my mum, because I lost my mum a few months ago, and in Series 8, Yeah, there is an episode that Mom is sort of mentioned on. She's been in every series and she loved it. Every time we used to say to her, Mom, do you want to be on one of the episodes? I mean, she used to play the crew up terrible, hadn't she? But
Yeah, she was always a nightmare.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I felt sorry for her because she was always in the show and you were always playing her up.
Yeah,
That was the problem.
yeah, but
It
the
was
thing
always...
is, with my mum, people could say we were playing her up. The thing is, the most important thing, Mum obviously had dementia. And it was progressively getting worse. And I noticed that when I watched the series, I can tell, how that changed. But the one thing that as a family we always said is we wanted to keep Mum upbeat. We wanted to, we used to have a laugh with her. And I mean, her daughters have always played her up from since we were young.
I was going to say, that's
We've
the
always,
thing.
yeah.
She knows what you're like.
I mean, honestly, it took years back, you'd say to Mum, where's the hairbrush? And she'd say, well, I had it 5 minutes ago. And then you'd open the fridge door and it'd be in the fridge.
In the fridge.
You remember? I mean, again, Mum had several sets of teeth in her life. And every time she had a new set of teeth, we would play her up because she could never say sausages. Or 66.
Who does that remind me of?
I don't know, because...
who's following the same footsteps?
But they're happy memories now that we can look back on.
Yeah.
I'm going to shed a few tears this series. There's no question about it. But I've gotten 8 series now of Mum being in the show, that I can look back on, the family can look back on, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, great-great-child. As it goes on, we've got that to look back on and be grateful for.
I think possibly the Rodriguez family will go through the same of, all of those memories that are now captured on film.
We're so lucky in a way, really.
Yeah, that it is so. It's memories that are going to be, there forever to watch and look back on, and I think that's so special. And yes, Nan will be missing now from the show, but there's always the reruns, and I think that's great. People can still see it, and people can still watch it, and all those times, what we call family stories on the show. Obviously, every episode we have a client filming, and then we film a family story, which is something based on our real lives. Those sort of events that have been put together, and we've invited the crew in to film it. It does make it more special. It makes it.
It does.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you go through life and things happen.
Yeah.
And you move on to the next event. Whereas when it's filmed, it's like, okay, we've got to do it right and we've got to take it in. And all the ones Nan was involved in.
Yeah.
I think it'll be amazing to watch back.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series. I think it's going to be. I've got a feeling it's probably going to be the best so far, as you say. I mean, for me personally, series 1 was the best, but that was purely because of I suppose it was a new experience, etc. But this one, I think there was more content, and we had some lovely clients.
Yeah, I think for me though, what I was saying with it was my favourite season to film was more just because of the whole experience. It just felt easier to film. I think I felt the most comfortable. Physically I've changed, and I think I felt more confident of being on camera and thought, no, this is, I mean, you had that obviously with your huge sort of change. It makes you feel more confident of saying, right, okay, I feel good about myself, which means you can do more, you can give more of yourself on camera.
I think that's it. I think it was more to do with having more energy. I think you have more energy, and you
I never have energy, Mother. Especially not on the early shoots when it's like, can we meet at 8:30? I'm like, huh?
Yeah, but you always get away with it. Can you make it a little bit later? And you're always the one that's got to. I've got a thing.
I've got to go to the gym.
Yeah, I've got to go tonight.
I mean, Danny, this the producer. I always get it wrong. PD of this series that's out now, Series 8. I think he hated me by the end of the series because every day I was like, I've got a gym. I've got to go to the gym. I've got to be finished at 7. He was like, Shaun, you can change the time you go to the gym. But that was always my get out clause. So I was like, no, routine. It's good.
Well, I found that having Danny, was an absolute dream. I mean, the fact that he's absolutely gorgeous is one thing.
It helps.
Yeah. It helps looking at somebody with a gorgeous face. But our team this time, we've always had a fabulous team.
Yeah.
You know, our producers are fantastic. But you know, obviously, you're going to click with some other than other. I mean, Craig on this series. I mean, people who follow us on Facebook, you will have seen a picture of Craig pulling faces behind my back and that. But it was lovely. Cam. I mean, it didn't matter how you were feeling.
Yeah,
She'd just lift you up, wouldn't she? You know. And
I think it's their job. Obviously, they're trained in what they do, whether it be the sound technician or they're the PD or they're the camera or whatever they are. But it's as if they've also been trained in how to just be happy because they turn up on shoot every day and it was like if we weren't quite feeling it or you know we'd had a really busy day the day before they always kind of just knew how to get your spirits back up, and it's a key skill of their job. They've obviously people in front of a camera, they've got to have you on top form. And I know it didn't always work with me. And again, Danny, I take my hat off to him because there's some days he'd be like, "Come on, Shaun, you gotta, pull it out the bag again. Why am I about pulling things out the bag?"
I don't know.
And I knew I put up a fight sometimes. I know I've recognised in past episodes of this podcast, I'm not the easiest sometimes.
No, son, you're not.
Behind the scenes.
No, you're not.
But that's just because I might have a little attitude sometimes. But I never mean hot. I never mean bad by it. I just can sometimes come across a bit direct. Is that the word?
Yeah. I could think of another word for it, but I won't say it. Yeah. You know, and how do you think I feel? I've actually gone through the change whilst, sort of going through this series. And, looking back on some of the, the first series that we did, I'm like, I mean, some of those days I was literally on the edge, but...
I mean, saying that, it's made me think, obviously, I went through quite a life-changing experience with obviously going through the separation. And I was still going through, although it was done and dusted by the time they were filming, I was still dealing with a lot of things. And I remember certain film days, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was there physically, but mentally I was in a whole other different place. And I kind of watching it back, it's going to be weird because I know I'm going to be watching myself thinking, you weren't quite all there that day. You were maybe, dealing with other things. But on the positive side as well, there's sometimes where something's amazing's happened and we go out and film and I'm like, I remember how I felt when we were filming that day.
Yeah, I must be honest, me and you together, we do get into a lot of trouble. I mean, if ever they did an outtake show.
Yeah, I wish they would.
When we do
I'd love it.
The problem is with me and Shaun is if something happens, it's only got to be something small that triggers us off. And I mean, the last couple of times, it has really been the fact that there's words that I can't say, can I? And I mean, even Danny's had to stop filming because the camera wouldn't sit still because they were laughing so much. But the problem is with me and you, when we get the giggles, we get the giggles.
It's a nightmare.
And it's got to be a nightmare for them because they're sitting there with a camera on their shoulder, sweating.
Yeah, but sometimes it's with the clients that are with us. And even the clients are just staring at us and we're in fits of laughter and we can't control it. But I don't know what it is when there's a camera on and you can feel the pressure of like we've got to get through this, scene, and we just we just can't.
But that again, that's an experience that we've had feedback from the people that film with us. They have so much fun because they always turn up really nervous, don't they? When they first walk in the door, you can see that but by the end of the first day, they know that we've got their backs. They know that, forget the cameras. This is about your journey. This is about finding a property for you. And if you see, a lot of people that film, they're frightened to say what they're thinking. I mean, you might have to bleep this out, but I mean, I would prefer somebody to walk into a house and say, this is than walk in and say, oh, yeah, this is lovely. And then the cameras go off and they say, what you brought me here for? It's absolutely vile.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what happens in real life.
Yeah.
But obviously they don't want to do that. And obviously we have to be respectful for, you know, to the vendors of the properties as well. Because, you know, people walk in and they'll say, you know, oh, what? Look at the colour of that sofa.
Yeah.
But the sofa's not going to be there when you buy the house, is what we normally say. And we do say that when we're being filmed, but obviously that gets cut out because you can't keep saying the same things. But yeah, I think an outtake show would be quite funny.
I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it because things happen with the clients as well. You know, we've had people walk into glass doors. We've had people tripping. We've had people saying completely the wrong thing, like swearing maybe, or you know, it's entertaining for us just as much it is for everyone watching it, and I think that's why we're so excited for Series 8 to be out, and hopefully we get a Series 9. I mean, we never know. We go series to series, and even if we do find out, we won't be able to tell you.
Tell you anyway.
So we'll just kind of have to play it by ear and see how it goes. But I'm just so excited. This is the first series I am really excited to watch back.
Yeah.
I think everything we filmed was emotional. It was exciting. Some things were a little bit, you know, on the more sadder side, but everything that we put out in this last series, I think, is going to make an incredible season. Absolutely incredible. So. And the clients, obviously, we did no sales throughout the whole season.
None. It was rubbish. You never got to use your master blaster, did you?
Master blaster.
Well, that's what some of them were called, master blasters.
Okay. No, it's obviously only week 1, and we've got a lot of episodes ahead for you all to watch. So we're really, really excited,
and we do love the feedback as well. You know,
definitely.
You know, this is normally when our social media sort of goes crazy. I'm going to go into work mode now.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going into work mode because now is the time. If you haven't got your property on the books with Spanish Property Choice, please contact. If you haven't got your property on the books with us, please do, because you know, we get huge hits on our website normally, but when the show airs, I mean, we've actually had to purchase 2 separate servers in America to cope with the volume that we get, and obviously we're not short of clients. We've got plenty of people that want to buy, but we need the houses. So if you have got a property to sell, now's the time to be on our books, because this is when our website will go absolutely ballistic. Our emails, poor Emma, we've got to get Emma. We've got to get Emma this week if we can.
We will do an episode with Emma very soon,
and she will explain to you the volume of emails we get. You know, we're talking hundreds and hundreds each day. All serious buyers. Of course, we have a lot of people who contact us about the show and you know, sort of ask us questions. It's very difficult during this period to sort of answer questions on potentially what might happen if you move over in the next 3 or 4 years, because unfortunately it's going to change. There's no question about it. It's pointless giving you information now, because even in the next 12 months it's going to change. So you're much better off to keep in touch with us. Go to www.spanishpropertychoice.com. I'll try and update all the pages on there with all the information that you need to know as it happens, as it changes. Obviously, follow our Facebook page, because I do update there all the time if I can. And obviously, the podcasts.
Yes. Please also come and follow us, if you're not already, on our Instagram and now on our TikTok, which is doing really, really well. Hang
on a minute. What did you think about me and your dad coming back from Malaga?
Well, yes. It got a lot of views. So.
Do you know Wop to Wop?
I can't,
Do you know
Mom, I
what the WAP
can't.
is?
No, I can't. I don't want to know.
Well, you
I
see,
don't want
most
to
of the
ask.
people that watch our show would have whopped
I
years ago.
No, I'll keep that between you and Dad. But you can definitely come over and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I do just want to say as well, because I've seen a couple of comments, our social medias, although Spanish Property Choice is in the title, it is the Garner family social media. So it's part business, part family life, a bit like Sunsea and Selling Houses. We didn't want to just keep it all business.
Yeah.
I think our followers follow us because they do want to know a little bit more about us as a family and what's going on.
Yeah.
So if you're following us on social media, it's not all about properties. You will get an insight into us and our family as well.
If you want to know about properties and the buying process, contact us.
Yes.
Get in touch. As I say, go onto the website. The information's on there. One of the team or one of us will come back to you. That's the way to do it. Our Facebook page is a bit of a mixture. We do put. I'm going to stop putting all the properties we sell and that on, because I think it I think it winds the other agents up as well, because they put theirs, and it causes a little bit of conflict. I
don't think it completely, because that I see, people do still like to see some of the properties coming on, some of the properties coming off. But then, like you've just said, it's really driving that traffic to our website.
Yeah.
If you want to see anything related to the business, it's the Spanish Property Choice website. Social media is social media.
Yeah,
That's for us to kind of have a bit of a laugh, share our lives and anything that's going on with you. And especially now with Series 8 being out, social media, that's where we will be posting as much as we can. We're not in every single episode, of course, of Series 8, but when we are in an episode, we would love to share you maybe a little bit of behind the scenes of that episode, so we're going to try and do that as well. But it's a lot to keep on top of.
It is. Well, I mean, the Garner Couch Club podcast originated from our Garner Couch Club, which I set up for when the show's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And everybody that's followed us from day one, normally half an hour before the show goes to air, I will go on to Facebook and say to everybody, coffee ready, cake in hand, or
Banana
or a protein bar now. Are you ready for today's series? And then everybody interacts, and it makes me feel part of their family. We have a bit of a laugh, and then when the episode finishes, they always give me feedback and that. So we've got our own little couch club going, which will continue throughout Series 8. So I'm looking forward to talking to you all on there.
And we've now formed our new Couch Club podcast family. So thank you all so much for joining us every week.
It does need to be shared. We do need to ask you to share it with all your friends and family. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a way of expanding and helping us, really, because obviously, it.
The more people that see it, the more audience will reach, and you might have friends and family out there that don't know about this podcast. So if you share, that would be very, very greatly appreciated. But I think, I think it's time to go and watch an episode.
Absolutely. I hope you've really, really enjoyed Series 8. I hope you get a massive shazza-tingle.
Yes, Mother. And on that note, we will see you in next week's episode.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you soon. Mwah.